Song That Got Me Through, and I'm your co-host, Anil Maharjan. This week, we spoke about EDM, and our guest long loved the genre. She taught us about rave families, Kandi, which is apparently spelled with a K, and how she found herself at a festival crying tears of joy during Skrillex's set. 2 notes before we start the episode. The first, the guest is an old friend of Sarah and mine, so it sometimes seems like we're giving her an extra hard time, but we promise there's a lot of love. Second, since we're no longer able to play the songs discussed on our podcast, we put together a playlist of all songs we've ever featured. Just search Spotify for The Playlist That Got Me Through. I know, real original. If you want to know what song made me cry last month, send us a message on Instagram. Or, if you'd like to share a song that helped you get through a specific time in your life, submit the form on our Instagram page. Or email us, thesongthatgotmethrough@gmail.com. Now, enjoy the show. Hey Sarah, how's it going?
Hey Anil, it's going.
Is it going for you? Because I feel like it's not going well for you right now.
Are you referring to my multiple injuries during this quarantine?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty impressive record that you have there. For as long as I've known you, you've never gotten hurt. And then when we're supposed to be staying at home, you had a trip to the emergency, or not the emergency room, but
urgent care.
One of urgent care. And then, yeah, you got a second one here. So how's it going?
You know, I feel like I've always said this. I'm like an 80 some odd year old woman, and now my body really feels that way. So maybe this is just life coming full circle, and I'm just going to feel this way for the rest of my life, and I have to learn to live with it.
We usually call you an 80-year-old woman because you act like an 80-year-old woman. So it is sad
and
to see
now
that
I
your
move
body.
like one.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sad. But let's just say you should avoid coffee runs, hills,
Gardening,
any inclined surfaces, and hills. Yeah, and rocks too. So
yeah.
But what is really exciting is our guest this week is the one person who has known us as long as we have known each other. Pretty much the only person who I can say that about. Yeah.
Wow.
So I am excited about that. Also, I totally forgot to mention a couple weeks ago that it was our 10th episode, which is pretty crazy to think about how far we've come. And I think this is our 12th now. But yeah, we've really come a ways.
11 cents per episode for random advertisements. That could be our future.
I know. It would almost make up for that coffee you were getting when you fell down that hill. All right.
Yeah, so 15 episodes later.
Yeah, right. So, our guest this week, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Megan. I have known Anil and Sarah for a super long time.
Decades.
Yeah.
It feels like
it's funny, Megan, because the other guests that we've had on this show have known Anil for like actual decades. And then for you to say, known them for so long, it's been like a year and a half, maybe?
Well, yeah,
but it feels like forever.
Sarah, I met you when you were 23 and now you're 85. Like, that's
true. And actually, Megan, you met me when I was 22.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Smash Mouth says the years stop coming and they don't stop coming, apparently. So, speaking of music, Megan, it seems like you're going to be talking about a couple different songs this week. So what background do we need to know on you before we hop into any of your songs?
Yeah, definitely. So just starting off, music has been my entire life. For my entire life, my whole family were all big into music. Like my dad always played the Beatles. My mom was a big Bee Gees lover. So music has just always been playing in my house for as long as I can remember. So I actually am classically trained in music. And then I was in choir for 8 years and I competed for 6 years. And so that is a little bit different than the kind of music that I'm going to talk about today, because it was like fancy Italian arias or French.
What do you mean by competing?
So what do you mean by classically trained?
So like I did like
actual. What do you mean by music?
Well, music is the thing that brings people together, Anil, like us. Just kidding. Work brought us together. But when I say that I competed, it means that I was in small groups and like so I competed in middle school and high school, and we were in small groups competing against other schools, but it was other schools in like different states as well. Yeah, I competed for a long time, for 6 years, and it was really fun, but it definitely it's very nerve wracking. I don't know what to call it, but I like to sing for fun, and I love music, so it was really fun. But now I just like to listen to EDM music, and I sing that sometimes.
The perfect transition.
The perfect transition. But when I was younger, I used to go to concerts all the time. My first concert, I don't know if you guys know who Paulo Nutini is.
I don't.
No, he sang the song.
An Oregon classic.
No, I don't know where he was from. I think he was British, but he sang a song called Shoes, and it was super popular. He was a one-hit wonder, but that was the first concert that I ever went to when I was 12. And me and my friend Amy were there with my mom. And the Paulo Nutini guy was just like drunk on the stage, so sloppy. And me and my friend Amy had no idea because we were like 12 years old. And then from then on, I started going to heavy metal shows also with my mom, just as a chaperone. So she would, be hanging out in the back. We would be mobbing in the center. And then my mom would just be like, "Oh, you guys okay?" We'd be like covered in these massive bruises. So,
Oh, no.
from, competing in these like classical music to these heavy metal shows. And now I've been in the rave scene or the EDM music scene for the past 7 years. And I actually in preparation for being on this show, I thought about how many concerts and festivals that I've gone to and how much money I've put into these, which I'm not going to think about that one. But in the last 7 years, I've seen so many of these artists, and that is what transitions me into my first song, which is called So Bad by Savoy, because I've never seen them. And they are one of the only EDM artists that I like that I haven't seen before. And I was supposed to see them on my birthday in 2014 at the Crocodile. And then they just did.
Anil.
Oh, my favorite. My heart just like had a little palpitation when you said that. Yeah, exactly. I think skipped a beat sounds much better than palpitation.
I went to the Crocodile the first time with Anil, and it was so fun there.
The Crocodile is the best. I miss that place.
Yeah, I had so much, I don't know, gin or something that night that I could barely walk home.
Maybe they'll sponsor us.
That would be great.
Because you know that they're just overflowing with money right now.
Yeah.
But okay, So Bad is a song by Savoy, and this is the first song that actually got me into EDM. Like I said, I've only been listening to EDM for the past 7 years, but it really just like lit this fire inside me because I'd never heard anything like it before. It's really upbeat. There's and not a lot of EDM artists actually include instruments in their work, and so this artist uses drums and a guitar live every time. Similar to the band Keys and Crates. Have you guys ever heard of them?
Nope.
No. Wait, are you guys not EDM lovers? I'm so confused.
All right, Megan, you're definitely going to have to walk me through this really slowly. I know you started, but just take it real slow with me.
Okay, so okay, I'll give you a little play-by-play.
Perfect.
In 2012, I was hanging out with my friend Dylan. And Dylan was a good friend of mine that I'd known since I was maybe 5 years old. And we went into his house, and he had this super cool, like, attic room that he painted black and put a bunch of, like, glowy stars and glow-in-the-dark paint in there, okay? And I guess I was, so 2012, I was probably, like, 15, 16? Anyway. So I went in that room, we started smoking hookah, and smoking
as one does when you're 15.
As one does when you're 15. And so we were smoking hookah, and then he just puts on this music, and one of the first songs that he put on was So Bad by Savoy, this song. And I just instantly loved it. He also played a lot of Datsik, but Datsik is now a bad person, so we don't like to talk about him. But I just had never heard anything like this song before. And so it really just got me so excited about EDM music. And a couple years went by because I didn't really even know that this was a type of genre. I thought it was just weird Dylan music. So when I got to college, I met my best friend, Cameron, and we're still best friends to this day, but he's the one that really introduced me to the scene. And so I went to Paradiso, which is a music festival at the Gorge in 2013, and it was the best experience of my life. And I know, some people haven't been to festivals, and I 100% recommend that everybody should go to a festival at least once in your life, because you will not be at a place where you feel more accepted, more loved, excited, just completely free. And so
Do you guys do like full on overnight camping there and go all out, or do you show up during the day, listen, go home, come back the next day?
Oh no, you camp 100%. You're there for like 3 or 4 days. You do not shower. You are disgusting. You have
Honestly,
to.
though, Anil, I would say camping at the gorge, like festival or not, just camping at the gorge is so fun.
That's totally fair. I was actually going to say what Megan was describing in terms of not showering for multiple days on end kind of sounds like my current situation anyway. So I feel like I'm already a part of this.
So might as well do it somewhere beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. So yeah, so you definitely camp, you're there with all your friends. And the first group that I went with, they became my rave family, as some people call it. And we're called the Pacific Northwest Element Fam. And we all have different elements based on Pokemon. So that's fun. I'll have to assign you guys some, and you can be part of our little rave family there.
For non-Pokemon knowledgeable people,
Yeah.
like myself, what are the elements?
Oh, so it's, normal elements like water, rock, fire, electricity is one of them. Spirits is one of them. There's like 10 of them, but those are the main ones. Oh, grass and
Which one are you?
fighting. I'm a water Pokemon because I go with the flow. And so,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm a water sign. And then my associated Pokemon is Squirtle because I was one of the main starters of our little rave family. And so one of my old friends, Sean, was Charmander, so he was fire. And then Cameron was electricity and he was Pikachu. And then it just kind of like branched off after that. And then you get an element and then you get an associated Pokemon. And you wear these little Pokemon cards with you around your neck because we made a lot of Kandi. And for those of you who don't know what Kandi is, it's intricate beading that you wear in these huge bracelets around your wrist, like beads for kids that they just put on a single bracelet, but it's like built up into these major structures on your arms or on your neck, pretty much anywhere. And so, you put the little Pokemon on there and it's part of your outfit. Because, going along with, do you go all out in this? And it's yes, definitely. Like you wear the outfits, you are fully invested. So much glitter has been in my hair, and I still to this day I find glitter in my hair. So, it's not really a summer unless I find tons of glitter in my hair.
So my favorite question to ask for someone that is in the rave scene is, what's your favorite piece of candy that you've ever gotten at a rave from somebody else?
Wow, that is a really difficult question. The first piece of candy that I ever was traded, because it's a big thing to get traded. You do peace, love, unity, respect, and then you trade candy. And the first piece I ever got said booty bounce on it. And I was like, it was this dude, and he
I
traded
muted myself. I was laughing so hard. I'm sorry.
booty bounce. And I was at Keys and Crates, an artist I talked about earlier, and I just turned around and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what these pieces of candy say, because I was making them and they said like earth or love or whatever. This is booty bounce. But my favorite piece of candy I've ever gotten was probably made by my friend Cameron. For a long time, he called me his rave wife because we just like went to every show together. We were just always connected. And he actually made me this beautiful built up diamond ring out of beads. And it's so cool. And it fits about around like my upper forearm. And so it's just a huge gold ring with a diamond on top of it.
Can
And
we also just make a quick note that Sarah has a favorite question to ask people in the rave scene just sitting in her back pocket? That's a totally normal thing to have.
I feel like it is because I have a lot of friends that I grew up with that join the rave scene and have I never told you guys about my Paradiso experience?
you told me, and I was so surprised to hear that you went. And I was like, wait, go with me.
No,
I was under
Megan,
the impression
it was
that
a one and done.
I was under the impression that you dated a raver for a while.
Oh, yep, there it is. Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Okay. I've been waiting to use that piece of ammo for a while now.
So, so I was in the rave scene for a really long time. I went to like all the festivals that I could, and what I went to like not during the summer were called massives, and that's like Lucky and Freak Night, Resolution. Have you guys heard of those ones?
Freak Night I have heard of.
So Freak
I'm just gonna
Night.
keep myself on mute, and just assume that I know nothing.
Well, those they're called massives, and they were originally put on by a company called USC. But USC and Insomniac had a beef last summer, and so now Insomniac Events is taking over the whole Pacific Northwest, and everybody's extremely excited about it because Insomniac puts on events like EDC Las Vegas, huge, massive shows. And EDC Las Vegas actually brings me to my next song. So this is a song called Gold by Excision and Illenium. And for, I'm going to stop for saying for those who don't know, because Anil doesn't know. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm talking to Anil this whole time. Excision is the bass king, and he's been around for a really long time. And shout out to Sarah because he's Canadian.
What?
Yep, he's Canadian.
Cool.
So he's music, right? So he's the bass king of, everywhere, actually. And he's been around for a really long time. And Illenium, he does a lot of bass too. He's a little bit of a newer artist, but his music is really flowy. And
How do you become bass king? Is this self-proclaimed or has he earned this?
He has totally earned it. He has just really grown from, this kid from Canada to this bass king of the entire world, and everybody.
Now Sarah has something to aspire to now.
I was just gonna say, I was like, wow, what can this little kid from Canada grow to be?
You could be bass queen.
Yeah, that's it.
That's your call.
The one.
So Excision and Illenium debuted this song Gold in 2018 at EDC Las Vegas, which is the first EDC Las Vegas, and Electric Daisy Carnival is the full name. They debuted this song during Illenium's set at 2018, and during his set is when the fireworks show went off. And the fireworks happen every single night at the same time during someone's set, and they go for about 20 minutes. And they're the most incredible fireworks you would ever see. So during this time, the air is cold, it's blowing through my hair, the wind, your heart is beating, the bass, you feel it throughout your entire body. And I was just like, wow, this is the most amazing song I've ever heard. I still really liked EDM at that time, but I started to, after that show, kind of lose it. And my rave family kind of started to fall apart, unfortunately. And that happens a lot in the rave community because you grow with people so fast and you get to know each other really quickly that, things drop off really quickly as well. And you start to kind of resent each other. And so there was a lot of bad news happening there, which wasn't good. And so in the next year, we all planned to go to EDC Las Vegas again. And when we went that second year, I was sick the entire time and I had a really bad time. And I was convinced that raving wasn't for me anymore. And I was so sad. I thought that I lost my love for music. I lost a lot of friendships, and it was just a really sad time in my life. And so I kept going to raves anyway because I had this sense of music that I just loved the music so much. And I'm like, maybe if I go to the next event, it'll be better. And then I would have a bad time. And then it was because I was, surrounding myself with people that weren't making me happy. And so I kept going to these events, kept being, low on money because I was going to these events. And then finally, I went to Base Canyon. When I went, it was like I went to the festival for the first time ever again. And so during that festival, I had fun. I was there with a wonderful group of people. I was still going through a really hard time in my life because I was actually going through a long-term breakup. And so I was with that person, but it was just everything was really sad all the time. But at the end of Paradiso, it was the last set of the 3-day weekend, and Skrillex was there. And so it was the last set, and he played the song Face My Fears by Skrillex and then Hikaru Utada.
So the entirety of my knowledge around electronic music and dubstep is around Skrillex, because he used to be in like the kind of bands that I would listen to. So that is the extent of my knowledge about Skrillex.
I thought you would know Skrillex, and everybody who has ever even heard of EDM music knows Skrillex. And a lot of people are like, oh, only white girls like Skrillex. And it's like, okay, but Skrillex is awesome. Okay, I might be a white girl and I like Skrillex, but he's also awesome. So it's sung by, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. It's Hikaru Utada, and she is an incredible Japanese singer. And this is actually the opening theme for Kingdom Hearts, the video game. I actually didn't know that because I haven't played Kingdom Hearts in a really, really long time. But going back to this festival where it was such a fun festival, and then I got to the end and it was Skrillex's last set, and I was just hoping that he would play this song. And, just the same as EDC Las Vegas, like the wind is blowing, you're at the top of the hill at the gorge, and this beautiful song just starts playing. And I literally cried because it was the most incredible experience of my life. I started jumping and dancing, and it was during that song.
Do you mean to say booty bouncing?
I was booty bouncing. To this song, and the song is called Face My Fears. And like, one of my biggest fears in life is being alone. And I was like, after listening to this song, I'm like, I need to go off and do my own thing. And it was a really great decision for me to end that relationship. And this music allowed me to come to that decision and be confident in that. I loved myself and I was happy in life, and I could love music and getting rid of the things in my life that were making me unhappy. And, music is such a thing that can bring out all these emotions in you and make you have these realizations. And that's what like this entire journey of songs did for me. Like, it was this huge growth and, finding myself in every different stage of EDM music. So that's my EDM story.
That is awesome. I mean, I wanted to start out this episode by giving you a hard time about EDM, as well as possibly making a joke about your life being a little bit like Pitch Perfect. But
whoa. It kind of was in high school. I was a president of my choir club, so
that's totally fair, and there's no judgment there. But what's really cool about your story is a couple things. The first is kind of being able to remember the first time you heard a genre or a song or something like that, like you were talking about with Savoy, and then kind of transitioning into the sort of like peak of your love of a type of music and this kind of rave family that you were talking about, which I think I think you have a much cooler name for it. I just had a bunch of friends that I used to go to shows with all the time, and I wish we had a name like Rave Family.
Mhm.
But then kind of also going into that point of like, do I really actually like this? And being able to end at a point of like, okay, this Skrillex song is actually not only reminding me of my love of this music, but as well as like the fact that I know that everything will be okay as long as I love myself.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is this the music and the people that you're there with, they really allow you to grow and figure yourself out. And you don't realize it as you're going. You have to look back. And you look back and you realize and you're like, wow, when I was a kid and I was just in Dylan's attic listening to this song, smoking hookah, who the hell was I? And who the hell did I think I was? I obviously didn't know anything. But then you go and you just keep doing things, and it's good to know that you go to all these events and you meet all these people and you have all these good times, and just like you said, Anil, like, do I even like doing this? To have that realization and to know for yourself that you actually do love it is so important, because you should always fill your life with doing things that you love no matter what it is. And so it's really important to find those things for yourself.
For people who kind of make fun of EDM, and I'm sorry if you didn't know that, but for people who make fun of EDM, what would you say about the genre of music and the sort of lifestyle that goes along with it? Because I think that most people who make fun of it are very much on the outside, have only heard like really generic aspects of EDM music and probably don't know anything about it. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, I obviously know that people make fun of the EDM genre a lot. And not only, they make fun of the genre, but they also make fun of the people. And I know to a lot of people, it's just noise and it's just computer noise, but there really is a genre out there for everybody. And besides the point, EDM and raves and festivals, it's about being yourself and it's about being free. And so going to these festivals, you have no boundaries. You are yourself. Everyone accepts you. And I've never met a more loving and accepting culture than ravers. Like, if you are having a hard time, if you're sad, if you're alone, people will just come up to you, start dancing with you. I have done it on so many different occasions. The fundamentals of EDM are peace, love, unity, and respect. And those are the 4 guidelines that all ravers abide by. And so I would say, give it a chance, go to a show, even if it's a small show. There's a genre out there for everybody, and you will be instantly accepted and loved and welcomed. So
That was beautiful, Megan.
thank you, Sarah. So when you guys come to a show with me?
Well, that's all the time that we have this week, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you coming on, Megan. But yeah, I really would actually like to go to a show. Not a full on festival, but I think I would like to go to a show just to see what it's like, because I am one of those people who judge way too quickly EDM
Maybe
music.
at the Crocodile. Maybe they'll hear this episode. They'll give us some free tickets. You never know.
Perfect. Again, Megan, thank you so much for coming on and telling your story.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
This episode was edited by me, Anil Maharjan. My co-host is Sarah Harrison. Additional editing and mixing was done by Chris Maffei at Multitrack Minds. You can check out their full line of services at multitrackminds.com. Special thanks this week to Megan for telling her story and being so patient with all of my stupid questions. If you want to hear the music discussed in this episode, search Spotify for The Playlist That Got Me Through. As always, if you're interested in telling your story, submit the form on our Instagram page or email us, thesongthatgotmethrough@gmail.com. Until next time, don't lose touch.